Let's just do a quick little Cam thing because we're at an hour and 13. I love these. Cam's back in the league. I feel like you're happy. I'm happy. He's in the division, which is unfortunate. I don't know if he's the Cam. He's not the Cam that we used to be afraid of, but if Colt McCoy can go out and take NFL snaps, Cam Newton should be taking
and
them
win games that you need to win in the division. And that was on the road.
Ron Rivera. Yeah, dog. Yeah. You may not have liked Cam.
But as soon as Fitzpatrick went down, he should have made the call at least and brought him in. He didn't even do that.
I know. Like, I prefer Cam Newton over a Heineken any day. I drink American. You see this right here? This ain't an ad for Sweetwater 420. We like them Georgia boys over Heinekens any day, buddy. Go Dogs, sick 'em. Since JP's not here, we're not going to hit Michigan versus Michigan State. I just didn't think it was worthwhile without the Michigan fan here.
All right. Well, I tell you what, we can do one thing though with college, just because we don't show much love to the college game on here. Let's talk about in general this playoff and how kind of it's shaping out. If you take a look at it, I think that we can all agree that as long as Georgia doesn't lose up until the SEC championship, Georgia will be in the playoffs, even if they lose to Alabama.
Yeah,
they're in.
If Alabama gets there.
Matter of fact, they don't fall below 3 because, of course, if Alabama were to beat them and Alabama stays undefeated, Alabama would be 1, and there would be no way that they would put Georgia at 4 for them to play again immediately.
Absolutely not.
But Georgia doesn't fall below 3 at this point, as long as they can finish out the regular season undefeated.
What happens if Bama loses to Georgia on a walk-off field goal in the SEC championship?
Alabama's out because there's a good chance that, depending on what happens, Cincinnati's going to be undefeated, and it will be hard to not put them in undefeated against a 2-loss, even if it is Alabama, a 2-loss team. It's going to be tough to do. And then Oklahoma could still go undefeated, even though they have got to be the least convincing undefeated team I've ever fucking seen in my life. And I think that either Oregon or Ohio State, one of them is going to win out. The rest, or Michigan, if you count Michigan, Ohio State, and Oregon, one of those 3 teams wins out. So they're going to get in. If Michigan wins out, that means they beat Ohio State and they win the Big Ten title. They're in. Or vice versa. If Ohio State beats Michigan, Ohio State wins out. They're going to get in. So to me, Ohio State, Georgia, out of those 3, Ohio and then Georgia are locks. Like those are 2 spots already. And who knows? 2 out of the 3 could do it, because if Oregon just doesn't lose again, Oregon's in. And so at that point, then you're saying it's undefeated Cincinnati versus Alabama. Alabama's better, and everybody knows it by eye test, right? We all know that. Like, there's nothing to even talk about there. But at the same time, I don't know how fair it is to not let them in undefeated after going undefeated in the regular season last year too. And they did, for what it's worth, they played Georgia's backup stuff because a lot of those guys sat out that game. They did. I mean, I told Justice that when we were doing the betting on New Year's Day. We were getting ready for my brother's wedding, and I'm like, Georgia's going to cover because the spread was 6. They didn't cover. Georgia didn't cover, but Georgia did win money line. And I don't know. I wouldn't want to leave them out, even though I know that if Georgia played Cincinnati,
boat race,
whenever they put the spread at, they're going to cover this time. I know they will.
Boat race.
I wouldn't even think fucking twice about it.
Bro, this Georgia defense is one of the best defenses I've watched as a grown man.
6 points per game through 9 games in the season in the SEC. I don't give a fuck if they played. It's not their fault they're in the East and they have to play Vandy and that's not our fault. They dog walked fucking Florida, who gave Alabama everything they could handle. Clemson, regardless of how everybody wants to look at it, it still came in as that type of game, and it was still a dogfight. It was 10-3. It was still a dogfight, but guess what? They came out victors. Who knows? If Clemson wins that game, maybe they're not as bad as they are. Maybe that game doesn't deflate them so much because it was such a physical fucking matchup. I mean,
I mean, yeah, it was. I remember sitting at a pizza spot in Monterey, California. And those bastards wouldn't put it on the TV. We've talked about this here, watching on my phone, and it was just. If I wasn't a fan of Georgia, I don't know if I would even want to watch that game because it was
Love
just
that.
defense. But here, let me just say one thing about this college football playoffs thing. Everybody has an opinion on it. People are upset. People are all up in arms about this and that. We need to add more teams. We need to do this. We need to do that. Here's the thing. The committee always gets it right. The best team wins the natty. It's like the fucking March Madness. Oh, we should add more teams. Yeah, okay. We want another 17 seed here. Who gives a damn? Guess what? The best teams end up where they're supposed to be. Oh, Cinderella story here. Guess what? Ones and twos are what's in your Final Four damn near every year. The name brands, the favorites get there. Why? Because they're the best. And the same thing happens in the college football playoff. Now, if they add it and they expand it to 8 or 12, do I think it's more entertaining? Yes. Do I think it would be crazy for us to pull up to Athens for a college football playoff game? I think that would be amazing. You know what I mean?
Good kick
That would
ass.
just. But at the end of the day, man, the best teams, the best 4 teams get in. You may argue between 4 and 7 who should be in that 4 seed, but guess what? The one who raises that trophy is the team that's supposed to win it. Now, ESPN and ABC need to start sharing some of this revenue here because it's like, yeah, y'all are just, for all we know, there's a ratings grab for the teams you put in there because we're gonna put Ohio State in at 4 over Cincinnati any day
Oh, for sure.
because that carries a better number.
It carries a better number, and they're better than them. At the end of the, let's just keep it 100. If Cincinnati played Georgia or Alabama schedule, I guarantee that they have at least 2 losses.
Absolutely, maybe 3. Are you ready for your college football 6-pack?
Let's bring it on.
Let's get it. Oh, wrong mouse. All right, so time for Parlay Pete's college football 6-pack. Let's get it.
Let's bring it in. Let's bring it in. I've got some really good stuff. I'm mad. We didn't really miss, but we did miss because I like doing the interaction part of this. But regardless of that, we've got a piping hot 6-pack, and I promise it won't disappoint because the later we get in the season, the more accurate it should be.
Hey, and by the way, thanks for putting the picks out last week. Like, we didn't even have a conversation about it. In my head, I was like, I hope Pierce gives me some picks just to throw on the gram. And then, like, lo and behold, you've been mentioning so-and-so's story. And I go, okay, bet. We got some picks. Thanks, man.
Yeah, we weren't going to leave it out. We weren't going to leave the people starving. So let's kick it off. We're going to get back to the Old Faithful, something that was working out a lot for us early in the year.
Ooh, that sounds like the first quarter.
You know exactly what it is. Alabama first quarter. They're playing New Mexico State this week. They sputtered offensively last week against LSU in a